Everyone has a mental health disorder now. Half the world is diagnosed with something, and the other half is probably just waiting around for someone to tell them that they have something wrong. When did the human experience become so complicated? Is it really that people are that sick, or is it just a normal reaction to an increasingly insane world? Everything now is a disorder. People are not just sad, anxious, agitated, or having trouble processing a past emotion or event. People are either depressed, anxious, have ADHD, or have PTSD. Everything has to have a name. Everything has to have a diagnosis. We have created a system that diagnoses people in order to provide help. We isolate the condition from the individual in order to properly target the symptoms as if it was some form of infection that needs to be cured with an antibiotic. This very systematic Cartesian way of approaching science and health is very problematic because it essentially saying that the whole problem can be isolated. The whole problem can be treated if we isolate the symptoms, if we isolate the problem, instead of seeing it as something that is a consequence of a very complex set of conditions, of contexts, of bodily, psychological, and spiritual dysfunctions. The consequence of seeing mental illness this way is what I call a normality problem. We are essentially saying that these people have a set of characteristics which deviate from the norm, and therefore they require some form of medication and treatment to be normal. But what even is normality? What is this normality that we are so much striving for that we justify medicating people to attain that? Are we really helping people be fulfilled and happy? Or are we just making them function, making them withstand and exist in an inherently sick society? Normality seems to be the people that are conformant and adapted to society as is. Therefore, not normal people are non-conformant people. Is this really mental illness? Is this really something that we want to fix with medications without even looking at it as a whole complex system that is, and looking at the different factors that make these people not adapted, looking at the environment, looking at the biological dysfunction that this person may have, looking at their family history, looking at in which world are they living? Do we really want to make people adapted to this society? I really sometimes wonder if there is that much merit in a person that is thriving in this very sick society. If there is not a value in preserving, in a way, in listening, in not trying to correct people who are depressed and anxious, because they are perhaps a sign of what we have that is so inherently wrong. Of course, society needs both types of people. We cannot just have non-functioning people. We need people that, despite the harshness, are still able to get work and to advance things that we have, to build houses, to go to education, to do all these jobs that society needs to function, or at least a part of them. But I think we also need the sick people, because they are the telltale signs of what exactly is wrong with the world today. If we are saying that you have no reason to be depressed, it is just you are just broken, you just need to adapt to what everyone else is doing, is this really the smartest thing to do? Is there no value in understanding why there is a depression crisis? Why is there more and more people than ever being depressed? Is this really something we want to erase? What I'm saying is that it seems like we are diagnosing breathing difficulties in a smoke-filled room, and that we are coming up with new fancy words for that isolate the problem, that require medication, instead of just removing the smoke from the room, instead of looking at how well the person is eating, if they have any nutritional deficiency, if they are getting enough sun, if they are surrounded by people that they love, if they're doing something that they love, if there is a higher purpose in their life, if they have some form of spiritual belief Instead of looking at all of those things, we're just isolating the condition, not even looking at, but saying that there is probably a serotonin reduction, a lack of serotonin in the brain, a broken brain, that there is some genetic predisposition that this person has that requires medication, that requires an isolated approach to an isolated problem. Now, there is also a place for conventional medicine. In some very life-threatening points in the life of a depressed person, there may be some benefit in taking medications, of course. Though most of the effects are due to the placebo effect, and I have done a video on this after the discovery that I've done that completely changed my life. But though there is a place for that, for an acute phase in the life, this is not a sustainable, long-term solution to a problem. Precisely because of this, during my master's degree in neuroscience, I went down a very big rabbit hole. And I essentially discovered and compiled a lot of the biological reasons why you might be depressed that have nothing to do with a low serotonin or a genetic predisposition in the brain. Nothing to do with that. There might be very real reasons why you are depressed, biological reasons, but they are fixable and they don't cost a lot of money. They are just super available. Everyone can do them. And because of this, I have put all of this together into a protocol, and I want to now do a study that proves their effectiveness compared to normal antidepressants. For this, I need volunteers, so if you're willing to participate in a pilot study of mine that will help the future of science, please let me know in the comments so that I can send you the link to be a part of the community of the people that are participating in this study. Now, the consequences of this conventional system is the creation of, first, pharmaceutical dependency. Think about all the financial interests of pharmaceuticals that are literally get to decide what is normal and what is not normal, so that they then can create a condition, a depression or an anxiety, an ADHD, that justifies them selling their medication. The second thing is quite odd and is this kind of mental health status competition. It seems that people, and I see this a lot on social media, people are kind of in this competition to see who has the most mental health diagnosis. And this is bad because it not only just creates this weird competition, but it also reinforces this victim mentality, this idea that you are broken, you are not adapted to this world, and you need external help to get you out of your situation. What we're really doing is disconnecting people from their own intuition and emotional intelligence. Being sad in a sad world is not insanity. It's the normal reaction to what is going on around you. This is again not to say that you don't have individual responsibility in what you're feeling. You have complete power over that. But we must first recognize that these mental illnesses are just a consequence, a product of their environment. They don't just naturally show up out of the blue, and they're not permanent. They're not an inherent quality of certain people. With that being said, if normality doesn't suit you, welcome to the club, and then create a reality that allows you to thrive. I will leave you with this saying by an Indian philosopher called Krishnamurti, who says that it is no measure of health to be adapted to a profoundly sick society.